lot of books. That's just a small spot on the wall. There are another small spot on the other wall, a big bookshelf over there, and all above the window. We got a lot to deal with, but we're just taking this baby steps. So this is book tour number 3. Well, let's go see what's in there. All right. Up here at the top, these are the illuminated scripture journals. This is the New Testament set. Let's see if I can pull it up. See? Anyway, there's that. All right, and then the Sensible Shoes series. Awesome series. I am a strong proponent of everyone reading this one. And then these two are my Robin Pearsons. Till I Want No More is a poignant debut that explores the faith of one African-American family. The writing is strong, the story is engaging, and the readers will be pleased to discover a new voice in Southern inspirational fiction. So there's that one. And a long time coming, this might be the one that was inspired by her family. To hear Beatrice Agnew tell it, she entered the world with her mouth tightly shut. Just because she finds out she's dying doesn't mean she can't keep it that way. So these two are Robin W. Pearson, women's fiction, and then this is The Sweet Life by Suzanne Woods Fisher, contemporary women's fiction. These are The Ties That Bind, oops, I have them backwards, by Eleanor Burton, Tethered and Lifelines. And I had been going as planned for biologist Robert Fielding until a squall threatens to shipwreck him. Tormented by the troubles in his life, he resists the friendship of his new neighbor, Anna Fawcett. After all, a senior and her disabled son aren't exactly in his league. But Anna's fresh cinnamon buns come with a side of innocent questions that erode his faith in naturalism and collide with his assumptions about life, love, and truth. And then there's a sequel. I'm not going to go onto the sequel. Crazy About Maisie. It's a happenstance chronicle. It's the second one. There are 3. I just haven't gotten the other 2. These are kind of like Mitford with a spark of, I want to say spice, but that makes it sound like it's racy. But it's just got a little bit more sass, spark of sass. And they, it only hints, just barely hints at a bit of a magical realism, because when people come into happenstance, it's almost like they can't leave. They can, but there's just a thing. And then Terry Blank, I've got 1 in, or 2, spring. Where's my spring? Maybe I don't have it yet. I don't know. But I've got at least 1 in their Harvest Rest to be read this year. It's women's fiction about a friend and her sisters, and yeah, I really like it. This is my Trey Rose in Brooklyn collection. And then this is another Betty Smith, Tomorrow Will Be Better. Joy Comes in the Morning is in the Shedifice, and this is If I Were King, which is the book that the librarian is always recommending to her. So there's those. These are going to be mystery and suspense all the way to like here. So Play Dead by Ted Dekker. Ultimate Game of Life. I don't know. The discovery of 2 teenagers ritualistically murdered in a secluded Austin park outrages a nation already on the brink of tearing itself apart. And then I have these 2 by Tosca Lee, which I only bought this one because it was mostly white, and I needed one for one of Chantal Reads All Day's Read Your Bookshelf Challenge things. I didn't have anything white, I didn't think. And then I found The Words Between Us, so I was wrong. But interesting, they both had between. Anyway, but this is supposed to be like a kind of a cultish book. I think she liked them, or at least liked this one. I don't know if she read that one. So I'm looking forward to it. I have not yet read Tuscany, but I'm about to start on her. Be nice, don't scratch my bookshop. I'm about to start on her The Long Way Home, or something like that, with Marcus Brotherton, World War II. These are the Quantico Files by Nancy Mell. That's the third. Freefall, Deadfall, Nightfall. I plowed through these in like, I don't know, January or something. They were awesome. I really loved them. Not quite as much as I loved Mind Games. I haven't read the other two in these. I can't find what I did with it. I'm almost wondering if I loaned it to someone, because I had at least two more. Something about fire. Toothless, what can I say? But this one, she's a profiler, and so she's trying to find this killer, and I figured out who it was pretty quickly, but I couldn't prove it. The proof wasn't there. It was kind of a gut instinct, so that she clearly had to have put all the information there. It had to be there, because that's all a gut instinct really is your brain connecting all the dots, right? And you just haven't gotten there yet. But this one, you go through the whole thing, she wraps everything up, and in the final paragraph, it's like she drops a cliffhanger, even though it can't be, because the story's ended. And yet, is it? It was just so good. It's the only time I've ever been, I just loved a cliffhanger-ish kind of thing. And then, I don't think I've read these. I've read another series by her, by Natalie Walters. This Fatal Code, The Snap Agency, and Lights Out. But I read the one that takes place, she runs like a diner or something like that in the South somewhere. Anyway, I've read those. I don't remember what they're called. I'll put something up here. And then Seconds to Live by Susan Sleeman. Homeland Heroes, Book 1. I have not read this, but I have heard really good things about it. Seconds are ticking down before someone dies. Ooh, cyber criminals hack into the U.S. Marshals Witness Protection. That's all I need. Yeah, that needs to be a thing, and soon. And then these are the Elite Guardians. Chasing Secrets is the third. Without Warning, Moving Target, Always Watching. These I bought because Lynette has done the Sunrise Publishing model with new debut authors. I think most of them were debut on that one. But they write in her world with her major characters and all that stuff. And then what do they do? Anyway, and so I wanted to read these before I read those. 26 Below, Kimberly Woodhouse, I've already reviewed that, but when the temperature hits 26 below, bad things are going to happen, and they do. What Happens Next by Christina Suzanne Nelson. Everyone has a story, and maybe everyone needs a little help toward healing. It's a podcaster who gets brought in to try to solve an old case. I don't remember why she is, or if it might be family bringing her in, I'm not sure. Across to Kill by Andrew Huff. A Shepherd suspense novel. I know nothing about this. I don't even know where I got it. It's a Kriegel. Can John Frost keep his vow of peace when killers come to call? Ooh. Cool. Never Miss by Melissa Coslin. She saved his life. Now they're in a race to stop a deadly attack. Is this the one about the... yeah, she comes from a family of assassins. So yeah, I do need to read that. I got that one after I talked to the author on the podcast. Cry in the Dark. I just hauled this one, so I just talked about it, but it's the next one by Jessica Patch. It's a love-inspired trade, so it's a full-length, full-size And the first one I read, Her Darkest Secret, was really good. Okay, so Cold Dead Night, the Brand of Justice book, Cold Dead Night, Burn the Dawn, Quick and Dead. There's another one out that I haven't read yet. Did I read Quick and Dead? I think I did. Walks into a Courtroom, yes. These are great. I think Chantal said she found this one difficult to follow, and when she said that, I remembered that I did too, and then it all started clicking together partway through, but I still loved the story. I think I still gave it 5 stars, but I had forgotten that it was difficult because by the end I was following it with no problem. So there's that. Raising Danger, another love-inspired trade. It takes place in Minneapolis, and someone's going to blow up the dam, and they're running out of time. So I started it, and I was enjoying what I started. I just haven't finished it. Distant Memory, Alton Gansky. So I think this is the only Gansky book that I have kept. I've read, I think, all of his, and so there tends to be kind of a supernatural element to his. This one doesn't really, but there's a woman who doesn't remember. She's kind of got a temporary amnesia kind of thing, and they go on this like wild. It starts basically where I lived in high school, just like across the road from where you would turn to go into our place, but it starts there and it goes on a wild race down through Lancaster, up through Santa Clarita, up past Ventura, up into Ojai, and behind the Glare. I mean, it's so cool. I even remember the retirement home that they have in this one, or the hospital. I remember that building, so it was really fun to read that, but it's also a really good story. So I kept that one. I really love that. And then Danger in the Shadows, which is my favorite of Dee Henderson's. I have her other ones in our room. I have not brought them over here yet. Trying to decide if I'm going to keep them. When I reread them, I didn't enjoy. I love the stories, but I didn't enjoy the writing as much as I used to, and so I don't know if I'll keep them or not. But this one I did. These are my only Carrie Stewart Parks. When Mercy. Cry from the Dust. My daughter, she's like a forensic artist in real life, so she brings it into her books. But my daughter chose this one for me to read in July, and I never got to it. She just read it and said it was great. So, and I think Chantal really loves that one as well. So I really need to get to it. And then Head Game. Tim Downs. I don't know where my Bugman books are. I've got more by him, and I love his books. Nick of Time is another one by him, a Bugman novel. See, I got one, but where are the rest? I don't know, but I need them. He's the one who did the best description of what happens with decomposition without grossing you out, and it was pretty cool. And this one, I don't know anything about. Someone wants you dead, but he doesn't want to kill you. He wants you to do it for him. That feels like that one, was it A Study in Pink or something like that? The new Sherlock. Feels like it might have been that. Reminds me of that. Okay. Time After Time by Kay Bianca. This has one of my favorite opening scenes ever. I really loved this opening scene, and has these 2 girls that I told her, I was like, I want them to be, I haven't sent her an email back. Anyway, I want her to write mysteries middle grade for them, and she's done it. I'm so excited. So there's that one. She has Dead Man's Watch and Pocket Watch on the Fence, or Watch on the Fence, or Post, or something like that. I think it's Watch on the Fence Post. So there's that one. This is Trip the Light Fantastic by April Heyman. It's a husband and his wife go on a cruise, and then someone dies and all the stuff that falls. It's pretty funny. His name is actually Trip. So Gingerbread Treasures is a small town mystery by Rebecca Jones. Very sweet, cozy, Christmassy kind of thing. But the gingerbread comes with the scary stuff. These are, I discovered they were large print after I bought them. I bought hardback because I wanted them, but they're by Gilbert Morris, who wrote like the Winslow House series and stuff. But they're a Lady Trent mysteries, Conspiracy of Ravens, The Mermaid in the Basement, and Sonnet to a Dead Contessa. And I think they're, I'm trying to remember, but I feel like they were historical. Well, when you have a crimson gown with a breathtakingly wide skirt, it's historical. So there's that. The Book of Hours by T. Davis Bunn is one of my all-time favorite books, period. Back when he was T. Davis Bunn as opposed to just Davis Bunn. Let's see if I can just read. Set in contemporary England, a grief-stricken widower determines to honor his wife's dying wish and unravel the secrets of a rundown mansion. And it is so good. I felt like I was living it when I was in England. It was so much fun. I have Burden of Proof by Davis Bunn. I don't know anything about it. Have not read it. And the one thing he needs is a second chance. But it's the one thing he can never get. Or so he thinks. It Came Upon a Midnight Crime by Christy Barrett. She actually signed it for me for my husband. She actually signed what I asked her to, teasing him. And that was really fun. My husband has read all of her books and he likes them. The Coffee Club Mysteries. 6 Whodunits Brewing in Small Town, Kansas. It has Darlene Franklin. I have not read. Cynthia Hickey. I have read her. Elizabeth Ludwig. Nope. Dana Mentink, obviously. Candace Prentice. I have not read. Well, maybe I have. Might have read her. And then Janice Thompson. I've worked with Janice on collections, but I don't think I've actually read anything by her, but I could be wrong about that. 6 Mystery. The coffee shop on the corner of First and Main in Oak Grove, Kansas seems to attract a series of mysterious events, or perhaps it's the 6 women who frequent the shop for book club who are magnets for trouble. So I obviously need to read those. Angela Ruth Strong. I have not read either of these, but I've read the other 2 in her series. And they're in reverse order. But A Mug of Mayhem, Lots of Difficulty, and I think I'd like to get the first 2 because I really loved her mysteries. I thought they were fun. I'm just talking about Written Off, Snuffed Out, and Brought to Book by Barbara Cornthwaite, Wilkester Mysteries. If you can only read one cozy mystery series ever, these are the ones to read. They're so good. Yeah, she's a literature professor in a fictional town in Washington, and I think she's adjunct, and she keeps getting wrapped up in stuff, and it's fun. Then these are the Kitten Files, which again are out of order. My first book, gonna have to reorder it, but they're by Perry Elizabeth Kirkpatrick. She also did the Accidental Case Files of Emily Abbott, which are awesome. And these are the Kitten Files. So she writes pretty good little mysteries, very cozy, very fun, just kind of. But these are written from the perspective of a cat. I'm Mia. I know how to write. Why is that a big deal? Because I'm a cat. So they're just fun little things I have not yet read because I don't have the first one, and no matter what I do, it doesn't seem to show up. Seal Under Siege. This one was Liz Johnson. I got this way back when and loved it. And this is the first one by Liz Johnson I ever read, The Kidnapping of Kenzie Thorne. And she absolutely freaked me out with this one because when I read the back, it says, kidnapped for her protection, which is the whole premise of my agency files, especially book 1, Justified Means. And I had just finished that book and was editing when I got this one saying, you know, will you read and review it? And I was like, sure. And then I read that and I was like, no. So yeah, that was scary, but they're nothing alike, even though they have the same premise. I've already talked about the Stahl Smith books, Roses for Regret, Miracles for Mourning, Rosemary for Remembrance. This series, the Time Will Tell Mysteries by Stahl Smith, who also wrote, and I don't have it because I sent it home with Charlize, she also wrote the Body They May Kill, which is probably, it's definitely a better mystery than these. That book was so good. But these are awesome, and I love them, and I think everybody should read them. I think I'm just going to keep stacking like so. Anyway, this is an arc that I have read, Murder in the City of Liberty by Rachel McMillan. It's like 1920s, I think, or 40s. Can't remember.
Determined to make a life for herself, Reggie Van Buren bid goodbye to fine China and the man her parents expected her to marry and escaped to Boston. Blah, blah, blah. But, yeah. But then murder. And then these I got because I talked to Doug Powell on the podcast, and they're like archaeological mysteries. And so, like, it's kind of like biblical fiction without the biblical, it's just the settings, but in contemporary times, but with the mystery. Super cool. I joked they were like Dan Brown meets Indiana Jones, and he says I wasn't too far off, so that was kind of cool. And then these are Annie's Attic books. I just read this one. Rachel Phillips. Okay, that's really interesting. I just said that the first book I read in the Rose Cottage book club was, I think it was by Rachel Phillips, and it was the first book, and I felt like the main story of that book was woven into all the backstory instead of the other way around. And I referenced this one as a better way of doing it and how much better written it was. And I think it's the same author, which just means that she's either gotten better at it. This may be newer. I wonder what this year is. Or it just, they gave her too much to deal with last time. This one's 2016, so I'll have to look at the others. But yeah, that's kind of interesting. But this one was really good. It didn't feel like a formulaic mystery, and it wasn't same old Amish, and yet it didn't shred them either, so that was kind of nice. These, oh, Susan Sleeman, Deadly Stitch, and this is Christy Barrett, A Murder in Two Acts. This is Creative Women Mysteries, this is Creative Women Mysteries, and this is Creative Women, Deadly Show, another Christy Barrett. So I had this one, and then when I saw that Christy Barrett did a couple of them, I grabbed them. So these are just a series. Follow Shannon and her friends as they uncover clues and solve mysteries and let their heart-pounding adventures keep you on the edge of your seats. So that's what those are supposed to be. And then these are, oh no, maybe that was Jan Fields. It might have been Jan Fields. I might be wrong. Because now I feel like this was the name of the gal on the other one. So that's kind of cool. Then maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm wrong. But Road Trip, I've already shared these in a haul. So Tapestry in the Attic and Metals in the Attic. Kathy Elliott. So I have those. Okay. So here we have Termination Zone by Adam Bloomer. But Kill Order comes first, which is why I haven't read this, because I keep forgetting to buy that. These are the Summer Heat collections that we just released. This one just came out on like August 26th or something like that. This is the one that has my book in it, and my book is the kind of the introductory to the Agency Files series. It's how my main character Keith got into the agency. But it has Kara Putman, Emily Haney, Shona Havoc, and Katie Lee. This one, book 2, Through Every Danger, has Lisa Phillips, Michelle Alexson, Lynn Shannon, and Rebecca Hemlock. And then Stay With Me has Carrie Trumbo, Jennifer Pierce, Liz Bradford, and Sarah Blackard. And then these are my Juliana Deering. I love these books so much. Rules of Murder, Death by the Book. They're the Drew Farthering 1930s England, written like a golden age mystery, but kind of taking a page out of how other mysteries are solved, so they're trying to do it that way and all the fun that goes with that. This is my little reading guy and his son. Aren't they cute? And then we start in, these are not all going to be suspense or mystery anymore. This is Heaven Help Helen Sloan by J.R. Lucas. Helen Sloan is in for one interesting year. Just take a look at her journal. And so it's a kind of a epistolary novel that I want to read. I'm going to put that up there for this way for a minute. And then Billy Coffey in the Heart of the Dark Wood. I have not read this. A motherless girl hungry for hope and the dream that could be leading her astray. So isn't that a gorgeous cover? Billy Coffey. I've never read Billy Coffey. And then All In by L.K. Simons. This is a gritty book, guys. This is Christian fiction, full of just raw, ugly, life is hardness. And yet, it, as hard as it is, it just really shows redemption in a beautiful, beautiful way. I believe there are an actual couple of words in here that I certainly didn't appreciate, but I understood why they were there. And there are obviously behaviors that I can't appreciate. And she does things with God talking to people and things that I theologically have problems with, but I understood why she put them in there. This is the No Less Days trilogy. I think there's supposed to be a fourth book coming, No Less Days by Amanda G. Stevens, From Sky to Sky, and All That's Fair. And I have to say, guys, so this is David Galloway Can't Die. And guys, I gotta say, this series is so good. So they can't die. There are a few people who were treated with a serum that some guy made in the 1800s, and ever since then their cells just regenerate really fast, so they can't even die if they try to. So like they regenerate, and a little bit like the Doctor, but from Doctor Who, but not quite. But the faith in these and the struggles and the wrestles is so good, just so good. Highly recommend it. And Found and Lost is the second one in the Haven Seekers. I've got Find and Seek on my to read right now. This one, you only have state approved religions in this time and place, and so this one is the state approved. Her dad is practicing a non-state approved religion and all that comes with that. Yeah, so there's that. This is my little invisible bookend. You just take a piece of paper and you fold it in square, and you fold it in quarters, and then you cut one of the quarters, then you just tape it, and then you can put it in there. But then I'm gonna scooch it out a bit. You just open the end, and voila. Visible bookend. The bookend doesn't take up any room, and it looks nice. Alright, so these two are Very Bookish Thanksgiving. 5 stories, 5 book lovers, 5 Thanksgiving novellas inspired by 5 classics. That was a limited edition, so it had Kelsey Bryant, Sarah Holman, Rebecca Jones, Grace Pennington, and Amanda Tarot. And so it's all Thanksgiving-y kind of things that I'm planning to read this November. And then Grandmother's Letters by Rebecca Jones. Is this as epistolary as I remember? Or is it just... Yeah, there's quite a few letters in it. I thought there was. So it's not totally epistolary, but it is definitely epistolary. And that's a beautiful cover. I think she did the artwork on this one herself. But yeah, Grandmother's Letters. Louisa's friend is dragging her along on a dubious treasure hunt. She, however, would rather be reading the recently discovered letters written by her great-great-grandmother, Georgiana Donahue. And so, yeah. Alright. Here we have rom-com and bookish books. We have Dear Mr. Knightley, which is epistolary, and it's a mashup of Emma and even more Daddy Lives. Catherine Ray, which I love. So because I loved it, I bought Lizzie and Jane, and I have not yet read it. And I think there's the Bronte plot or something like that, which I also have not read, but I wanted to see if I liked this before I bought that one. That was a moment of clarity. Dear Henry, Love Edith. This one is really funny. I just put this in the latest Bookstrings book, and I did it because I was reading reviews, and so one of the 1-star ones just cracked me up, and it was perfect for what I was doing in that book. But some of the reviews were complaining about the fact that there's a lot of deception in it. There's a lot. At one point, Henry actually kisses Edith, even though he's technically in a relationship with someone he's trying to get out of. There's a lot of wrong behavior, and yet that's kind of the point, to show that we do these things, but it doesn't make it right. And and the redemption that comes when we do. And so I actually didn't have a problem with it, which is kind of funny because I tend to be kind of persnickety about stuff like that, but whatever. Authentically Izzy is epistolary, bookish, and rom-com, and it's hilarious. I really need to read the next two, but I'm thinking about doing audio for it because I keep being told I should. And then I shouldn't do that one next. I should do this one next. Hope Between the Pages, since, you know, Pepper. This is a split time, and it's in Asheville, and then also over in England, and all the things as part of the Doors to the Past series, and I loved this book so much. It was beautiful. Then Secrets of Paper and Ink. There are other books that go with this one, and this was so good. This was so good. By Lindsay Harrell. It's Port Willis, which is it Port Willis? Or Port Isaac? I can't remember. Either Port Willis or Port Isaac is the real place. This is either one or the other, and it's the same town that is Port Wen in the Doc Martin series, but it's a split time as well, sort of ish. She goes seek answers in different things. It's a beautiful story, and I highly recommend it. And then the reason that Catherine Ray here isn't over here is because this is bookish. So anyway, the Fifth Avenue Story Society, I just talked with Rachel Hawk about this, and there is either coming or there is another story about one of the guys in here. So that was pretty cool. But this was a wonderful story. Women's fiction, people coming together, working through problems and not working through problems. It was just really good. Really loved that. The Printed Letter Bookshop by Catherine Ray. Women's fiction, bookish, definite bookstore. There's a sequel of Literature and Lattes that I have on Kindle, which I need to read so I can find out if I want a physical copy or not. But I love this book so much. Just, again, women's fiction, so in bookstore, so because of that. And then I just hauled this book, even though I read it ages ago, The Secret Life of Book Club by Heather Woodhaven. So good. So good. And then these, I read this one, which is book 3, and I was shocked at how much depth there was in this, like, summer romance, right? And so I went ahead and bought the other two. I have not read the other two yet. Sea Glass Castle and Beach Haven. This is the order. And someone else bought me this book, Lulu's Cafe by her, because I wanted to read it after I read these. So I need to kind of dive into, find out if I even want to keep those, but I don't keep a lot of the books I read. I don't have room for them. So I read them and then I send them along. Best Summer of Our Lives. I just did a review of that one. Breaking Point by Karen Ball. This book, I need to reread it. I have kept it all these years because this book had a huge impact on me when I read it. It was so, I can't even explain it, but I don't remember why. So I need to do that again. I need to read that again and see, even if I want to still keep it, maybe it was just one of those things that other people were like, I don't get what your issue with that is. And then You Belong With Me by Tari Ferris. I know nothing about it. I just thought the spine was pretty on the bookshelf, and so I thought, why not? Realtor Hannah Thornton has many talents. Unfortunately, selling houses isn't one of them. Okay, that right there, sold. And then, oops, I put it above Breaking Point. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Courting Mr. Emerson by Melody Carlson. I can't explain why I loved that book so much, but I really did. It was kind of a, if there is such a thing as a forced romance, it's like, you're going to be my guy whether you want to be or not kind of thing. And then, you know, yeah, it almost feels a little C.S. Lewis and Gresham. What was her name? Whatever his wife's name was that I can't remember. It almost a little like that. And then The Cubicle Next Door by Siri Mitchell is hilarious. She has a blog and gets her angst with her coworker out on that blog, but her coworker reads the blog and all the rom-com that ensues. So that is actually also rom-com. maybe it'll be better if I leave it out. Essential Ingredients. It's just a short story by Kathleen and I haven't even read it yet, but Kathleen Robeson, but Kathleen is a friend of mine, so I bought it, and I do want to read it, and it won't take but 20 minutes tops. It's super short. So anyway, perfectly arranged, perfectly placed, and I need to get perfectly matched. They are an organizer, kind of women's fiction, maybe romantic women's fiction. There's a thread of romance, but it's not really strong, so I really love that. These are my almost all of these that are left are my Liz Johnson's Prince Edward Island Shores, The Red Door Inn, Prince Edward Island Dreams, and then the South Carolina Mysteries, and then look at how much taller A Glitter of Gold is than the other two. That's funny. And those are Sparkle, Silver, Glitter, Gold, Diamond, Red Door Inn, Do Hearts Meet, Love's Gentle Storms, and then Beyond the Tides, The Last Way Home, and Summer in the Spotlight. Anywho, and then Accepting Andy by Joanne Markey. This is a hilarious rom-com. I loved it so much. I had a blast with it, and it's the Postcards from the Sea series, and I need to get the other ones because, yeah. And then this is another of hers. The other books I have of hers are up there. Your Heart for Mine, I have not read it, but I just love the cover. Oh no, he didn't, but he did. And then Hadley Beckett's Next Dish. I have started this twice, and I was enjoying it. So I don't know why I haven't finished it. So I need to start it again and finish it, because yes. All right. Okay, so this is The Princess by Lori Wick. I loved these hardback ones they came out with, so I got them. Sophie's Heart, which is the best book Lori Wick ever wrote, and my favorite quote in it is, "Do not make fun of Sophie's English when Sophie is angry." Alright, I'm back from church, and we're going to finish this up really quick. The neighbor is being special, so hopefully we will keep this PG. No guarantees, unfortunately. So, okay, so Sophie's Heart, I said, these are my two Kathy Macias people of the book, and No Greater Love. And I really do want to read those. I'm pretty sure Shelley said they're good. I have other Kathy Macias that are on my Christmas shelf, but whatever. My favorite Piper Basham book, Jane by the Book. All-time favorite male character ever is Titus, because Titus. And then Jennifer Sienna's All That Glitters. I think it might be part of her Apple Hill series. And these are three of the Independence Islands books that I have. Scrumptious Independence by Melissa Wardwell. Secret Beach Boyfriend by Carrie Trumbo. Guys, I gotta say, this book, Secret Beach Boyfriend, sounds so fluffy and sounds so like, really? But guys, this is one of her best books. This book was so good. It deals with anxiety and mental illness and family secrets and all kinds of stuff. Mishaps on the Mainland was hilarious. Tabitha Bolden, she's the one who wrote Madness in Wonderland, and I am messing up that thing. These are my David Rawlings. I love David Rawlings. I don't know where my The Camera Never Lies is, but Where the Road Bends is kind of like a walkabout in Australia. And The Baggage Handler, someone dealing with their baggage. And then this is Emma's story, which I know nothing about. The King Will Reply. Truly I tell you whatever. Oh, it's from Matthew. Tara is a missionary in Turkey who's looking for a miracle in her persistent requests to volunteer at an orphanage. Emma's story. Alright. And then it's been such a long video, so I'm really trying to whip through the end of this. Never Tomorrow by Judith Rolfs. Suspense. Darkness Rising by Liz Wheel. And the evil in East Salem is no longer content to hide in the shadows. Da, da, da. The String I want to read because my number 1 daughter wants to talk about it. Welcome to The String. Let's go over the ground rules. Rule 1, participation is mandatory. Rule 2, if any person refuses to play, the threats to all players will come to pass. Ooh, I don't think I've ever read the synopsis on that. This is Apocalypse TV by Thomas Alba, who is part of our ACFW group. I just haven't read it yet. Something I am not. Oh my goodness. Guys, this book, it's kind of YA and it's a hard book to read. But it is so good. Of all the liars in the world, sometimes the worst are your own fears. A father who never loved him, a woman who stole his worth, a brother who he couldn't protect. Where does someone run in the face of his deepest shame? This was a very, very hard book, but it was so good. And then Saving Grayson, you guys know I've talked about that already, so I don't need to go over that again. Down here are those bookish cartoons and bibliophile that I got at Drury Lane Books. My daughter's Art of Walt Disney and the hardbacks of the Crossroads collection. Those are all, there's like 5 or 6 authors in each one, and I have no idea if I'm doing this well, but there's like 5 or 6 authors in each one. They have a theme, they each write their book, and then the final book, usually, I think one of them, it starts it off. Amanda True tied all of those stories into her story, and so they're just a unique collection idea that I really, really loved. So there's my Christian fiction shelves for contemporary mystery and suspense. But we have, see, we still have all of these, and those are my Christmas books and some unshelved books and some books that I haven't brought out from my other room. There's all of those. There's all of those. And those. This is why this is taking so long. I'm just saying. So, stay tuned. We will have more. Meanwhile, which ones do you think I should read first? I'm just curious. I'm just curious.